scene, the Royal Showgrounds at Claremont, where armoured vehicles of the 10th Light Horse thunder into the arena for the regiment's most memorable peacetime event, the presentation of a new Guidon by His Excellency the Governor, Major General Sir Douglas Kendrew. Led by Lieutenant Colonel D.A. Kamusky, the regiment is forming to receive the new Guidon, which will replace the now frayed and faded one, under which the unit has served since 1958. The Guidon is uncased by the Regimental Sergeant Major. Despite threatening rain, a big crowd has gathered at the showgrounds to see the colourful ceremony. It is to be a unique display. For the first time, the Guidon will be trooped in a completely mounted ceremony. Ground-holding vehicles have secured the area, and the regiment is formed to receive distinguished guests. First to arrive is the Commander Western Command, Brigadier G.P. Hunt and Mrs. Hunt. They are greeted by the regimental second-in-command, Major I.B. Stock. The Minister of State for the Army, the Honourable J.M. Fraser, greeted by Brigadier Hunt and Mrs. Hunt. His Excellency the Governor, Sir Douglas Kendrew, and Lady Kendrew. The Governor accompanies Colonel Kamusky on an inspection of the regiment. The old Guidon is now about to be trooped. C Squadron moves out to escort it on its final trooping. The old light horsemen, men who fought under the Guidon and whose achievements are reflected in the battle honours emblazoned upon it. They watch in silence as the now faded Guidon is driven off its last parade. A moment of pride, a moment of sadness. And so, a new Guidon. Colonel Komaski begins the ceremony with the dedication.
As men at all times have made for themselves signs and emblems of their allegiance to their rulers, and of their duty to uphold those laws and institutions which God's providence has called them to obey. We, following this ancient and pious custom, and remembering that God himself led his people Israel by a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of cloud
Fittingly,
by day,
Bishop Riley is here to consecrate the new Guidon. A former chaplain of the 10th Light Horse, it was his father who blessed the first Guidon more than 50 years ago. And today, his son, the Reverend W. Riley, assists him.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we do consecrate and set apart this Guidon
The Roman Catholic chaplain, the Reverend Father E. Rogers, blesses the Guidon.
Bless, O Lord, this Guidon, which we bless in thy name, that those who follow it may be ever mindful of thy presence, guided by thy will, and guarded by thy providence. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
The Reverend Caskell and the Reverend Sampson, regimental chaplain, performed the dedication.
And of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we do dedicate and set apart this Guidon, that it may be a sign of our duty towards our Queen and our country in the sight of God. Amen.
Warrant Officer A. Harris prepares to receive the new Guidon from the Governor. His Excellency then addressed the regiment and concluded,
"Your first standard was blessed in 1915 by Archbishop Riley, and your first Guidon was consecrated on the 10th of March 1928 with the Archbishop, assisted by his son who was chaplain to the regiment. This new Guidon is a symbol of the continuity of your regiment and of your personal link with the Crown. I know you will guard it well."
The rain lashes, drenching officials and the public, but the solemn and traditional ceremony continues with military precision. Lieutenant General Sir Charles Gardner, the regiment's honorary colonel, is unable to attend today. But the former governor of Western Australia has sent his best wishes from Tasmania for a successful parade. The new Guidon will now join the regiment, which will now drive past. The ceremony is over and distinguished guests depart. It has been an impressive ceremony, a moving farewell to an old Guidon, which has meant so much to this regiment in 4 decades of war and peace. It has been a grand and colourful reception of a new Guidon, which will be carried with pride wherever go the men of the 10th Light Horse.